Can I have your attention, please? We're going to be starting up shortly. Good evening, and welcome to the Lowell Planning Board for Monday, August 19th, 2019. The first public hearing we have on tonight is a site plan review and a special permit for 48, 58, and 66 Townsend Ave, 800.1 and 810 Varnum Ave. An application submitted by John F. Cox, Esquire, on behalf of the Khmer Buddhist Monks, Inc., for approval of a site plan review under Section 11.4 and special permit approval under 6.7 and any other relief required by the Lowell zoning ordinance. The applicant is proposing to construct an approximately 16,800 square foot religious temple at 48, 50, and 66 Townsend Ave, and 800.1 and 810 Varnum Ave, with 274 parking spaces, landscaping, stormwater management, and utilities improvement. The project includes relief from the construction of the driveway longer than 200 feet. The subject property is located in the suburban neighborhood single-family zoning district. This matter was first scheduled on the agenda for May 16th and was continued to a public hearing on 6/3 at the request of the neighborhood and with the consent of the applicant. Then on 6/3, we had a lengthy meeting across the hall in Mayor's reception room. Then after that matter came back on July 15th, and on July 5th, we had a lengthy meeting on this matter. And at that point in time, at the end of the meeting, there was a couple of questions and concerns that were brought up by the board members. And at that time, the motion was made to continue to this meeting. We had concerns by Mr. Snetsky. He had a question on the traffic. He wanted to see if the city engineer had a chance to look over the new traffic report. And we had a couple of minor other questions. And saying that, we continue to tonight's meeting. May we hear from the applicant, please?
Good evening, Chairman Linehan, gentlemen. Attorney John Cox, 375 Gorham Street, Lowell, Massachusetts. I represent the Khmer Buddhist monks in regard to this project. Mr. Chairman, you correctly stated we've had a lot of meetings on this matter, and the adjective you used was several times lengthy meetings, and I agree with all of that. And I'll try not. I'm not going to be lengthy tonight. The last meeting, you're correct. There was some concern or some concern, I guess, about the traffic engineer. I believe the traffic engineer sent a glowing report, actually, in support of this project. Just this afternoon, I believe we received it. So I assume all of you have that in your files, and clearly endorses the use of that driveway out onto Old Ferry Road, and agrees with the traffic engineer that in the report that we had submitted prior. Another question that came up was something from the Order of the Elks. I have a letter, and I think you all have it, I hope you all have it, dated August the 5th, a letter of support from the Elks. I don't know what more we can go over. I will re-emphasize that this is a very, very, in my estimation, passive use of a large piece of land. It's one where a house of worship will be built. It will, by your approval, will affirm to certainly the Southeast Asian community here in Lowell and outside of Lowell the commitment that this city has to diversity, which is obviously something that's very important and something that's noted many, many times in the master plan. So we are obviously requesting site plan review approval and approval for the special permit for the roadway. I hope that we've satisfied the concerns of the committee. I will note, as you all know, there has been very, very little opposition to this plan. Up until tonight, I think one, maybe two individuals have spoken against it in all the lengthy meetings that we've had. So we would ask that tonight this board approve our requests and let the, clearly it would be conditional upon approval from the Conservation Commission. We're working with them and have been as we speak. And, but this would be a first step in letting the monks here and the Southeast Asian community in this city have a permanent home finally, in the city of Lowell. So therefore, we ask for your approval this evening. Thank you. Answer any questions you may have clearly.
Thank you, sir. Anybody here wants to speak in favor of this project this evening? Anybody in favor? In favor? In favor? Hearing none at this point in time. Anybody against this project want to speak against the project? Against? 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 Hearing none. I'll turn it over to the board members. Have any questions or comments? Or? Go ahead, please. Ms. Lockhart?
Attorney Cox, there's a memo here was just sent today from Jared. It's comments from Natasha Vance, our transportation engineer. I'll just read it and then you could comment on it, please. I have reviewed the traffic assessment report provided by TEPP LC on 7/29/19. I am in general agreement with the conclusions of the report. Site distances are acceptable per some standards. Per the applicant, it is not possible to perform trip generation based on ITE, given that the temple does not anticipate any set worship times. That's all, I think, understood. But then she goes on to say, lastly, I am in agreement that providing access to the property off of Townsend Avenue would not be advisable for the reasons given, as well as not cause a potential increase in traffic on Neighborhood Street. Can we just expand on that? And
Yeah, certainly, certainly, Mr. Lockhart.
maybe you've communicated with her directly.
Right, and we totally concur with that assessment.
No, okay, all right.
Right. Any access or egress to Townsend will be emergency only. There will be a gate there. The access will be off Old Ferry.
All right, so that remains the same.
Correct.
All right,
Thank you.
that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any other board members have any questions, comments? Mr. Fischett, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Once again, we've come a long way with from when we first met for the pre-application hearing, actually, on this project. The concerns with as Mr. Lockhart read the memo from the city's traffic engineer, and that has been satisfied. We did get more information on the traffic report, which was helpful even for us to see. And also as you indicated, the information from the Elks as well. I just had, there was one outstanding item with the landscaping, and it wasn't so much a new landscaping plan, but to take a look at least injecting some trees that would be slightly larger in scale to kind of bring down the building in scale from the roadway.
So, so we've been directed to, yes.
Oh, thank you. All right.
So we were directed through DPD and Conservation to identify all the existing trees within the site that were over a certain diameter in order to just evaluate what trees we're removing and what trees we're replacing. Obviously, we're going to be removing more than what we're replacing, but most certainly we can incorporate new trees through DPD that are along that Pawtucket Boulevard side that can, get to elevations that would coincide with the scaling question that you had as you're looking at it from Pawtucket Boulevard. We went and did that analysis that you asked for to show the building with the trees that are there, and most certainly the trees that are on the lot line would stay.
Yeah.
Trees, 5 to 10 feet off of the lot line would be cleared in order to make way for the structure itself. Any trees, obviously, that are on the adjacent properties are all going to remain. And if you go out there now and if you now see the Demoulas site that's been clear-cut there, the Market Basket site, you'll see a big line of trees. That's essentially where that Paper Street is, that separates our project from the Demoulas property, as well as you'll see trees directly at the end of the parking lot to the bowling alley.
Right, right.
That's essentially going to remain the same. We can also incorporate trees that'll get to a much larger height along that lot line if DPD feels as though we can incorporate that into the landscape plan on their review. We do have a chart that better identified the trees that we're putting in there, but essentially we're putting in two types of trees. We're putting in 33 cherry blossoms that are going to line the road, and dogwoods that are going to be outside of the parking areas as well.
Okay. So, if I hear you correctly, you'll be working with DPD?
Yep.
At least, again, for some trees that would help to bring down that scale of the building, and however you can work that out. And again, it's not looking to screen it completely, but it's just to try to bring that scale down, so.
Yep. DPD has been very particular, shall we say, about this situation, as they should be. Matt's being modest. Matt spent, I don't know how many hours out in the woods on a hot day the last couple of weeks, actually going through the trees and counting them and that type of thing. So we've got a pretty detailed report that has been sent to Conservation, which of course will be part of their approvals. But yeah, DPD's definitely been on this, and I'm sure they'll continue to be too.
And I just want to go, it's been a while, and I just want to go through the memo here to make sure, and this is actually the memo from July 11th. I just want to make sure we've got everything covered, which,
It's a more recent, sorry, Miss.
I'm sorry, yeah.
It's a July 23rd. There was a July 11th, and then there was a July 23rd memo. It's essentially the same memo,
Yeah.
just minus a few items that were already taken care of.
I guess,
I have an extra copy.
yeah, you know what, if you wouldn't mind, Matt, because I know I had it here. I just want to make sure we don't leave anything. Thank you. Application, and we got, I did speak with DPD today, and I believe the issue with the Paper Street is that's been determined that it is not up to this board to make a determination on that. Also, we had the Elks document. So I just want to make sure the engineering items have been addressed.
I can say this, Mr. Frechette, one of the items that you had requested was the true grid paver
Yes.
documentation.
Right.
So we had a small department head meeting with the town engineer,
Right,
city
okay.
engineer.
Yep.
And it was determined at that meeting that we're going to be incorporating the operation and maintenance of those true grid pavers into the stormwater report, and that there'll be a yearly, I believe it was going to be a yearly submittal on the maintenance of
That's what
those
they wanted
systems,
to
yeah.
remain, okay. And that will be incorporated into the, Matt, I'm sorry, into the,
In our stormwater report, there's an operation and maintenance plan, which provides a detailed description as to how all the drainage systems are going to be operated and maintained. And then additionally with that, there'll be verbiage on how to operate and maintain the grease traps coming out of the building and how it relates to the sewer system. And Mike Schuer was also, from wastewater division, was also at that meeting. So we have an understanding of how we're going to facilitate those items.
okay, good. Those were really the main items that I was looking for from the engineering perspective, so. All right, site plan. Yeah, this was. That was basically the last item from that True Grid.
Yeah, and we had received full approval from the fire department. In fact, we provided a wider curb entrance to Old Ferry, and we're going to actually move a utility pole at the entrance.
Okay.
So we have a full approval from the fire department.
And did we determine from the last meeting for the dumpster, how the traffic is going to be handled?
Yep, we have a dumpster location with a concrete pad that's located.
That's going to be enclosed? Again,
Yep, that'll be
concern is
enclosed.
if there's any flooding, that won't that won't be an issue, so.
Well, there's going to actually be an operations procedure for the facility to do certain things as we may be approaching a flood.
Okay, no, good.
Because as you know, it doesn't come in a wave.
Right,
It
correct,
just
yeah.
comes gradually. So we're going to determine some elevations where, the nice thing about this facility is no one's going to be living there or anything. So, there'll be a maintenance facility, someone in charge of the maintenance of the entire facility. And there'll be certain protocols as to what they're going to need to do related to if they're approaching a flood stage.
And what document does that get incorporated into?
That's going to be in the operation and maintenance plan.
The operation maintenance, which is where the True Grid,
True Grid, it's in the True Grid, it's gonna be the, to remove all the vehicles off the facility. We're gonna have some gate valves on the sewer system that we're gonna shut down. And we're essentially gonna be able to do certain things to this facility before we enter into a flood stage, well beforehand.
good. And that's the other responsibility of site plan review as well.
Well, the Board of Health can be involved in opining on what they require related to the dumpster. Sewer can put in any information they want to do, so that's going to be detailed through the Conservation Commission filing that we have before them.
Good, all right. I think you've addressed everything that we've discussed over the last several months, so I'm satisfied with the proposal at this juncture, so thank you.
Mr. Malovich, any questions?
I only have one little question about the traffic impact. I was wondering whether, like we do on other projects, that like 6 months out after you open the facility and start using it for the first 6 months, whether or not there could just be a traffic analysis to see whether there's any impact that we didn't foresee, and then a year after that, see if there's been adjustments, see if there's still any problems.
Sure.
And after the year, we don't need to do anything ever.
No problem. Very reasonable.
That's all I have.
I just have a couple of.
Caleb, any questions, comments?
I think member Fitchett already mentioned more of the landscaping elements, but I remember, I think we mentioned about the plantings also trying to mitigate the parking area from the surrounding residential neighborhood, and also, but I think there are trees that you're saving along the lot lines, so I think that will largely take care of the views.
Yeah, we're actually going to have a no-cut buffer along that neighborhood side. It's that dark green. So everything you see in dark green is going to be vegetation that's going to remain as is.
Yeah, that's good. Buffer.
So beyond that, I'm all good.
Thank you. Dick, did you say something, another question?
Yeah, I just have a point of clarification. I'm sorry if I'm repeating this, but I think Jerry covered it. I have a partial memo. I lost the first page, I think. Item 2 probably came from DPD. The planning board should ensure that the new and replacement water supply systems and sanitary sewage systems located within the development area to be designed to minimize or eliminate infiltration of floodwaters into the systems. And item 3 states the planning board should confirm that all backwater valves shall be installed in all new sewer connections below base flood elevation. I think it's covered, but
Yeah, we're actually going to not do backflow valves. We're going to do full shut-off valves.
yeah, okay. All right, I'm good.
I don't have any questions. At the end of the last meeting, the only concern came up was whether our traffic engineer had the opportunity to look over the new traffic plan. We received the new plan, I think, from Mr., where did we get it from? Yeah, we received one from the applicant, and then as a result of that, traffic engineer looked it over, and she's in favor of it. So I have no problems with that. As Attorney Clark said last time, there's a question about a letter from the Elks. We received that. And the other condition that, or any question that we brought up has been satisfied in my mind. Like I said, the last major thing was the traffic, and the city traffic engineer signed off on that, so I have no questions. I think the project has come a long way in
I think we're good.
the last 4 months. As Mr. Clark said, one meeting we were sitting here going home to watch the Bruins game. That was back in June. It seemed like a long time ago.
Right, that was a
So
long time
hopefully we're not sitting here watching the Red Sox in October when this is still going on. But yeah, hopefully. So I have no further questions.
Mr. Chairman, I just
Sure.
have one quick
Go ahead.
question. Matt, on the access, the emergency access to Townsend Ave, is that going to be a locked gate?
It's called a Knox box, so the fire department has the ability to trigger something from their vehicle in order to operate it, or it'll be a physical lock, whatever the fire department
It's considered a gated,
it's gated.
gated.
Yeah, no one will be able to actually open it unless you're an emergency vehicle, is my understanding, the way those systems work. Meaning, the facility can't just start, using it whenever they want, just because it's a
I
short.
remember one project we had before, we had the lock situation, and it came up to the fire department, how they wanted it approved, and basically they just said they had equipment on the truck to cut through the gate if need be, the way the applicant set the gate up as well. So
Yeah.
they had it approved by them, and it was no problem with us. And I know you've discussed this with the fire department, and and we have comments in the past that the fire department's in favor, so.
Yep.
So, yeah, whichever way they prefer to open that up, it's not a concern of mine, as long as they're satisfied to meet the fire department requirement, so. Okay. So at this point in time, we need 2 votes, one for the site plan and one for the special permit.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the site plan for Townsend Avenue, the Buddhist Monk Inc. development and I invite my colleagues to add whatever conditions are appropriate, with the condition that the landscaping and the trees be worked, that particular issue be worked with Department of
So the
Planning.
landscaping plan to be approved by DPD?
Yes.
Okay.
And anything else that anybody wants to add to that,
If I could add then, Mr. Chairman, to make of the motion, that the approval is subject to Conservation Commission approval, and if resulting in any material changes to the plan, the applicant would have to come back before the planning board. Also, subject to, if any approvals from Conservation trigger MEPA review, if there is anything that requires the applicant to come back for a material change to the planning board. Also, that the access to Townsend Ave be for emergency vehicles only, and will be gated as approved by the city's fire department. And I would like to add to the landscape plan is that the applicant is to work with DPD and subject to the approval, with the idea that, with the goal of trying to bring down the scale of the temple building. And then, subject to, I know you've got the stormwater report with the operating and maintenance plan. I would just say that that be obviously subject to final approval by city engineer and wastewater. And that the applicant agrees, Mr. Malovich, based on what you said, that is, I believe, after a year of
After 6
operation,
months,
after 6 months,
you look, after they start operating, or they open the facility,
yeah, that's always a good idea.
they do a review to see what changes might be necessary to make it less of an impact, if there is any. And then after that is accomplished, in a year, at the year point, they do another assessment, and if there's nothing needs to be changed, that's all they have to do.
we put that in the.
So basically, it'd be an updated traffic report within 6 months and 1 year to see if the traffic pattern is still working, accessible. Is that fine?
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
With that, Mr. Chairman, I will make a second on the motion.
Motion's made by And second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes yes, so we have 5 in favor, none against, approval for the site plan. The next matter is the special permit for the length of the driveway. I'll make a motion to approve the special permit.
I'll second the motion.
All right, second, and all in favor, say aye.
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 Right, so the motion is approved, so we approve the site plan, and we approve the special permit. Congratulations, all of you, I wish you well.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for your
Cox,
patience.
hopefully when this is up and built, you invite us to come take a look.
All right.
We're more than happy to come by and take a look at the
Good
finished product.
project, really.
You know,
People need it.
wish you well.
Okay.
It's approved, good luck.
Thank you, sir.
No video recording tonight, no?
There you go, good,
Didn't get
great.
the final approval on the
That's
video?
good.
They'll have to watch LTC. Thank you very much, thank you. Good luck, Mr. Cox, wish you well.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, moving along on the agenda, the next matter is the pre-application site plan review and special permit for 116 and 128 Fletcher Street. NG Development LLC has requested that the planning board provide a preliminary review of their proposed project at the above-listed address. This is not a public hearing. The planning board will render no decision related to the site plan and special permit, nor guaranteed any future decision, whether positive or negative, on any projects that receive pre-application review. The applicant has submitted preliminary plans to convert the existing building into 11 residential dwellings. The property is the urban neighborhood mixed-use zoning district and will require site plan review under section 11.422, a special permit under section 12.1E, and other relief. May we hear from the applicant, please?
Good evening. My name's Josh Guerra from 22 Phillips Street, Lowell, Mass. I'm here representing NG Development in the purchase of 116 and 128 Fletcher Street. We're proposing a project to redevelop an existing property that is currently being used as a warehouse/manufacturing building. We're looking to convert it into, right now the application has 11 residential units. I believe it's 6 two-bedrooms and 5 one-bedrooms. We're just here to request additional board information, criteria, or any comments that would make this project more feasible in the eyes of the board.
Have you read by any, our comments that were addressed to us by, that we received from Mr. Jared Ells, our assistant planner?
Yes, sir.
Well, okay. So, and do you have any questions on any of those?
No questions. All comments were reasonable, and if there's a few items that were requested, and we are willing to accommodate those requests.
So you, you don't have a plan to show us in your presentation this evening, no?
No, we do not.
All right.
You'll have enough parking to meet this?
Currently, no, the site does not have enough parking. Right now, I did an initial layout, and it's about 5 parking spots. I believe the code would require about 22 parking spots, but we believe this is a good plan or a good project because it falls in line with the city's master plan, their 2025 master plan, to add additional residential units and to increase transit, public transportation. We are located about, I believe the comment said about half a mile from the Lowell train station, which is about a 10-minute walk. Additionally, I believe as part of the comments, the building needs to be renovated, exteriorly renovated to I guess, fall in line with the, sorry, I apologize, with the,
Historic board, right?
that's correct.
Yeah, you have to, have you worked with Steve Stoll at all on that?
I had a initial meeting with Jared to discuss the feasibility of the project, and Steve was present, and he came and said hi, and
We'll be looking at that in the future.
he was given the green light in terms of his understanding of the project.
Does the adjacent, do you own the adjacent parking lot, or there's
So-
an asphalt area right adjacent to the building? Do you own that?
That would be 128 Fletcher Street. There's, I believe it's the next building over owned by Leonard Electric. They have a much bigger parking lot than 128 Fletcher Street.
Okay, so that's not yours, but you could potentially work out an agreement with them to.
If the owner would be open to it, we would be open to it as well.
I'd encourage you to do that, because you obviously don't have enough parking there.
Now, this is the building that the sheet metal company was in?
That is correct.
Now, I looked on the city records today, and the 128 is a much larger parcel than that particular building. That seems like you own all of that parking lot that's there on the, next to it.
If that's the case, we'd be open to it. That initial site plan or basic site plan was created by myself using GIS. We've currently hired a civil engineer that was licensed in PE, and he's a licensed surveyor, and he has gone and done the survey, and we're just waiting on the official site plan.
Yeah, you may have enough parking to meet the requirement. Not saying you do, but I'm just saying that the assessors records show that if you own 128, or the developer owns 128, he's got a much larger parcel than 116.
I'm
And it's
crossing my,
vacant,
I'm crossing my fingers we do. It is the case.
so you may not have that kind of issue. Looks like the only relief you're looking for is minimum lot area per dwelling.
That is correct, and the parking,
Yeah,
if the situation arises.
if it arises. And historic board approval.
If I may, I believe the actual owner of the property is here along with his seller's agent, and they would like to say a few comments if you guys would allow them.
Sure.
Sure.
Here's Mr. Ray Booton.
Chairman Lenahan, members of the planning board, thank you for allowing me to speak. A couple of questions on the parking. I believe there is more than 5. Mr. Malovich is correct. They do own the lot, which is 128, which is significantly larger than the buildings that it's on. So I believe the 5 parking, there would be much more than that. We've had more than 5 vehicles there that are on Mr. Kelly's property. As far as Steve Stowell, I worked with Steve when I originally listed the property, and was able to get the information from Steve of what would be required for the building to make it historically, because it isn't a historic zone, what it would need to meet the historic standards, and those were also passed along to the buyers. So I don't think that answers the 2 questions.
Yeah, the only other concern I would have is that in the parking lot that there are some trees to soften the heat in that area.
Some trees?
Some landscaping in the parking lot.
I think that could easily be done along the fence area, along one of the roads.
And it would be a lot easier to get a variance if you're asking for less than 22, but more than 5. You know, if say you only have 5 spaces, the Board of Appeals would not look very good on it.
Okay.
So the more parking you get on that site, it make
Okay.
it easier for, if there is a need for relief, that Board of Appeals would look more favorably on it.
Okay, appreciate that input. Thank you. Is there any,
Question
Mr. Lockhart?
relative to the exterior surface of the building, particularly on Rock Street as you're driving out. It's really a mess there. It looks like that old, just,
May I say asphalt shingle?
yeah,
Yes.
which can be
Better than
problematic.
asbestos, but,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
right, but yes, asphalt shingle.
Can you
Perhaps the
comment
buyer
on
can
the
mention what
condition
they're...
and what you propose to do
Yeah,
for that?
yeah, I think Steve has previously approved a concrete board, like a hardy board style,
That
on
would be
the
typical,
street,
yeah.
on the street side facing Fletcher Street. The plan would be to wrap the entire building in the same material,
Yeah, all right.
same color and everything.
That's really nice.
Since it's been previously approved, we think that would ease the process.
Yeah, that would certainly improve the appearance and the,
You may find the original material under that asphalt shingles. So
Yeah.
it may be a better, once you look at it.
No, we have seen that original material was a wood siding. Some of it, of course,
Clapboard or,
some of it, of course, needs repair. Sorry, what was your question, sir?
no, I'm just making a comment that maybe the original stuff may be under that siding that's on the building, and it may give you clues, or your designer clues as to how to best treat that building.
Perfect. We'll take that comment.
what do you propose to do with trash
We
recycling?
are proposing to put a dumpster and a recycle dumpster as well, trash and recycle on the property.
There is a
Possibly.
run there, you know, it's hard to visualize.
No, yeah, without the dumpster there, we definitely have more than 5 spots. When we install the dumpster, it looks like it's gonna take maybe 2 to 3 spots up over the allotted land. That's why it's a tricky project.
Okay.
The only comment I have is about the parking, because it's mentioned 4 times in the narrative. It's mentioned by planning staff, it's mentioned by the building department, it's mentioned by the urban renewal project manager, and it's also mentioned by the transportation engineer. So obviously, I think you have to look at significantly what you have for parking.
That's the biggest issue, yeah.
Yeah, because basically what you're gonna need is you're gonna need, if this proposal to be approved, you need a site plan approval from the planning board, you need a special permit from the planning board, you need relief from the zoning board, and you also need relief from the historic board. So I think, I don't know how your parking is laid out without having a plan, but obviously if 4 different department heads out of the 6 that we send things to mention parking, obviously I think you have to look into the parking. That's the only comment I have.
Thank you.
Do you know the distance from the building to the nearest parking garage?
The Lowell Transit Authority parking garage, that one's about 2,500 feet. There's the parking lot
Forget
on
what the-
Market
that's all
Street.
right, that's beyond the,
Yeah.
yeah, all
We-
right, so you gotta
try to-
satisfy it on site.
Can I ask, because I'm not sure, they can check the new Hamilton Canal Garage that's going to be built? That may actually
Yeah,
be
that's-
closer?
In fact, I think that's
If it's
on
not up and running as of now, then it doesn't count. We have to take it
okay,
as
yeah,
the way
as
the
it is
existing
right
project
now,
is now.
Okay.
Dealt with that project when we first saw the Rock Bridge come in.
That's right.
Because we were told all the things on the other side of the bridge on the other side, all these new developments were coming in, and we said you can only take it for what's available at the time of the approval of the meeting before the planning board.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
We can't say no for future use, it has to be, if it was up and running at that point, we could consider it. But if it's not, then we can't.
Right.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because
Yeah,
we
that
would be
makes
less than
That's what we've been told
1,500
several times, yeah.
feet.
Okay, so anything else? No?
I want to ask about, like, there seems to be a little shared driveway or in the back. Do you plan to add another egress, as the transportation engineer have commented?
I believe that's an easement possibly owned by the city. It's a right-of-way for the property owners.
So what we'd have to see is the easement on the plan. Yep.
Okay.
If it's on the plan, if it affects your property, then it would have to be on the plan. I think, what was the question on the, I think, did it say it's on the plan? Let me take a look. It did mention the easement, yeah. I thought it did. Yeah, what was it,
It wasn't on the plan, but it was, the gentleman did mention it
yeah,
in
I thought
writing.
it was somewhere in the plan, yeah. So,
And are you also going to keep the garage doors in the building, or what's the plan for that?
The plan would really be to take the input from the historical board. Yeah,
Because they won't be functional.
if they want, yeah, it'd be an unfunctional one if they'd want a similar style or go with maybe another, brick or granite facade type deal, we'd probably be able to accommodate that.
I think because of there are curb cut as well, I would think that there will be conversation about that. Because they were used for garage earlier.
I think a long time ago it was used as a garage until the city came and redeveloped and leveled the street. And I think they took a small easement in the front of that building to basically close off the garage.
On a memo dated August 12th from Jared, the building department has made a comment that there doesn't seem to be adequate parking and no sprinkler room provided in the building. Can you address the sprinkler situation and what your plans are there?
The plan is to install a sprinkler system. We provided a very initial conceptual design. None of the rooms were kind of
As long
labeled.
as it's on the plan, that issue is addressed, I think it's important.
Yes, that'll be in the plans we do submit to the, for the official board.
Okay, that's all I have.
any board members have any further comments? No? Wish you all good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Right back.
Okay, excuse me. Moving along on the agenda, we have the review of outstanding conditions at 1857.1 Middlesex Street. Reviewing outstanding conditions of the site plan that was approved and granted on November 22nd, 2017, and was expanded to K through 8 and K through 12, a number of the students to 1,200, subject property is in suburban mixed use, and needed site plan review. So we're here for review of outstanding conditions. I know we received a a letter from staff, and we received a letter from the applicant. So this time, we'll turn it over to the applicant.
Good evening.
Good evening.
There's a letter addressed regarding 7 outstanding conditions, I think it was, or 8, excuse me. And there's a letter that Ms. McCall sent in where I think from their point of view, 7 out of the 8 have been met. There was 45, as you probably remember, total conditions, many with subparts. We've accomplished all of them. There's one request that I did make as regards to number 1, the annual traffic monitoring reports. So we were supposed to have done our next traffic monitoring report in March of this year. You might recall there was there was 3 successive decisions from this board over approximately a 3-year period, and the last one to install the traffic signal. So we went forth doing that. Everybody worked cooperatively. Unfortunately, through a number of different things, I think you're aware that your city engineer was out for, you didn't have a new one for like 3 or 4 months. And then when we finally got it, there's only 2 places that manufacture that arm. I don't know the proper name. What's the proper name? Mask arm. So that one got flooded and canceled all the orders, and which put the other company that we ordered it through on backlog, and you can't order that until you get everything approved through all of the parties. So that was another 12-week delay. The long and the short of it is it's installed, it's accepted by the city now, and everybody's happy with it. But and this is completely our fault. I apologize to the board. We were supposed to have that traffic report done in March. We got caught up, and I thought I requested from our traffic engineer. He thought it shouldn't happen until after the signal was installed, and it was just a complete miscommunication. I should have filed for an amendment at that time. I apologize. Obviously, if I could go back, I would. But as I addressed you in the letter, it's kind of maybe fortuitous that what he suggested, just for the rest of the board, Mr. Dirk is our traffic engineer who was with us last time. He didn't think it should be done in March anyhow, because he said all would be given us the same analysis that we've already submitted the year prior without the new data. The anticipation, I think, and I don't want to speak for this board, was that we do it after the light was installed. We had expected the light to be installed earlier, and it's installed now. It's scheduled for August 28th, but I received a comment from Christina from one of the departments. If we could have that in mid-September, we have no problem with that if the board sees fit to let us do that. And then it would take approximately 3 weeks for the report, for them to submit the report, and then we could supply it to the city for review, or this board. And then you'd have the benefit of having the additional grade, which would also have been there. They didn't want it for the first few days of school, because everybody and their brother comes, and it's kind of skewed a little bit. So if the board sees fit, we request that amendment to only amend it from 19 of March this year, from 2019 March until, and I would suggest if we can make it to the end of October, it will be done in mid-September, but to give the 3 weeks to get the report submitted. We'd have it submitted to you for 2019. What we suggested in addition to that, which is another step, is instead of ending in 2022-23, add 1 more year on the end. So you'll be able to see the entire high school. You'll have a traffic study from every grade, which I don't know how we missed it before, but I guess we didn't miss that last year. So we thought that would give the board the final view with everybody there. So and we'll do that 1 additional year. So the request is really to have it move from March to, by the end of October, prepared in mid-September, reports submitted by the end of October. And then each year thereafter, as I put in my letter, it would be in March of each year, beginning in year 21. So you'd have it 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, and 23, 24. So for 3 successive years thereafter. That would address condition number 1 on the letter. And it might just be worth noting, and I think you're probably aware of this from the interaction you had with Ms. McCall in the different departments. We were the ones who sent in the chart, and we're trying to get all the conditions nailed down. And then the letter came back because I think there was a misunderstanding of what we were doing and not doing. We thought that the remaining items didn't have to be complete, and I don't think anybody disagrees with this until the high school was open. We just decided to do them all and finish them, so we completed everything, all 45 conditions, except for the ones we can't complete until, traffic study in future years. Besides that, I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions. I think that there's a lot of feedback from the different departments, and as far as I know, they're generally satisfied with everything we've done, and we've resolved those outstanding conditions.
Thank you. Jared, I know we got the letter from Christine on August 15th. Anything further the staff has to add, or you think that pretty much covers it? Or anything further you think we should be mindful of? I know we got the
No,
letter.
based upon my conversation with Christine, it seems as though that they've been able to address everything that was requested of them.
Okay. All right. So, board members have any questions or comments?
The only thing I would just say, Mr. Chairman, is just to adopt the, what was suggested for the traffic monitoring plan, where we would move the, what was originally targeted for March 19th to a September 2019 study for an October submittal to Planning and Development, and then extending the traffic, and then to continue annually, I believe in March, and then extending the plan by 1 year. And I think that covers what the modification is.
Yes.
Any board members have comments on that? Any other comments? No? I agree with what Mr. Fischett said. Dick, you have any questions?
No.
No? And we got the report from Mr. Dirk, which was very helpful. He always does a good job.
Yeah, he's sharp.
Yes, he's a good guy. When he helped us in the past on a couple of different projects, and when I saw that he got involved in this one, I felt a lot more comfortable because he did the one right down by the bridge.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
he's very thorough.
on the other side of the bridge, so it wasn't like he was coming into a neighborhood that he wasn't familiar with, though, and he's, I think he does a good job. I mean, tells it like it is, and,
Yeah,
like,
no.
you have three different traffic people talking about things, but when they bring all their heads together, it helps resolve, make it a lot easier for us, so I have no further questions. I actually agree with Jerry, and if, Jerry, you want to make that in the form of a motion, I'd be more than happy to second it.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, put that in the form of a motion.
Motion's made, and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Did you get the motion? You got it all? What's that? I did, okay. So what we adopted was the new traffic monitoring plan as requested, and as I said, motion made by Mr. Fischett, second by myself, and approved by all the board members. We wish you all good luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
When does school start? Must be pretty soon, if not,
26th, I think.
yeah, most of them before Labor Day these days, huh?
Yeah, I'm not in a favor of,
Yeah, I hear you.
kind of ruins the holiday,
Yeah.
My kids are out of school now, so it's,
Yeah. The only good thing I ever thought about, the sooner you start, the sooner you get out, but.
that's true.
So,
All right.
thank you, Mr. Pellegrini, good luck, have a good night. Thank you. Okay. Moving along, do we have any further notices from any of the members on the board that sit on other boards?
Historic Board has been very quiet over the summer. We're going to be meeting on September 9th, and we anticipate a resolution to the National Grid building on the corner of Rock Street and School Street. It could be torn down. The applicant is working pretty hard on developing some alternative use there. Be very interesting to see in September. That's all.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a comment.
Sure.
It's public now that apparently that J.J. Boomer's building is going to
Oh,
come
yeah, in
down.
December.
And I guess my question is, Jared, I mean, at that point, I believe that the material changed to the site plan. Are they going to be coming back to us? I mean, we approved that with the parking lot that was there, the building that was there, and so.
That's correct. We anticipate a new filing from Market Basket related to the changes that they would be making to that site, or propose to make to that site.
Okay, good, because I've been getting some questions, and I suspect that would be appropriate, so, okay. good.
Anybody else have any comments? Okay. If not, I just have two. One, I want to wish Pat Burns from our planning staff has no longer with us for the city. He resigned, and he's going off to get his graduate degree out of UMass Amherst. We want to wish Pat the best. He was excellent with us, and I gave him a lot of credit for all the work he did, and we're definitely going to miss him. And again, at our last meeting, we were informed that our board member, Mr. Richard Sneski, was stepping down from the board, and that was his last meeting. So again, I wished him well, and again, from the city, we wish Dick well, and thank you very much for all his contribution, if you're watching, Dick. But so we're going to miss two good people who spent a lot of time with us, who did a lot of hard work for us, and truly they're going to be missed. And on behalf of the planning board and myself, we thank both of them. So, thank you very much. Anything else on the board? If not, we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have adjourned. Good night, and thank you, everyone.